video will walk you through the steps required when you are going to prepare a flexible budget. We will use a company that creates pizzas as our example. So the problem that you have available to you is listed here on the screen. If you haven't had a chance to work through it, I would suggest you pause the video and try to complete this prior to watching me show you how to complete the answer. So in order to create a flexible budget, there are a number of steps that you need to go through, and I've kind of framed out right here what the flexible budget would look like when we're done, minus all of the actual figures. So the first thing I'm going to need to calculate is what is my activity index, or what are the items that drive my costs. And for our pizza shop that only makes pepperoni pizzas, we have a number of pizzas as the activity level. So I've just chosen that we need to prepare the flexible budget at these three increments of productivity. And we were given all of this information right over here in the problem, and what this told us was how much cheese do we use, what are the variable costs, and it gave it to us in a fashion where we actually have to go and calculate what it is per pizza. And the fixed costs are also listed in here. So to figure out what my direct material costs are per pizza, because I want to get the number, the cost per one item of the activity index in order to create the flexible budget, I've made this little reconciliation down here. So the items that I would consider direct material are the cheese, the pepperoni, the sauce, and the dough. And so my problem tells me that each pizza uses 1 pound of cheese. That's a lot, and that each pound of cheese costs $5. So my cheese per pizza is $5. The pepperoni per pizza, I use a half a pound of pepperoni. It cost me $3 a pound. So $1.50 is how much the pepperoni costs per pizza. The sauce, I use a quarter of a pound per pizza, and the sauce runs me $2 a pound. So if you calculate that out, it should be 50 cents per pizza. 50 cents right there. And then finally the dough, I use a quarter of a pound of dough per pizza, and the dough costs me $1 per pound, so it's 25 cents per pound. Now I add all of these items up, the $5, the cheese, the pepperoni, the sauce, and the dough. We know our direct material cost is $7.25 per pizza. And now what I will do is come up here and just calculate. If I make 9,500 pizzas, my direct material costs are going to be the number of pizzas times the cost per pizza in direct materials. And the same would hold true for the other levels of production. And at 16,000, I would have 725. So here would be my direct material costs at the different levels of activity. I'm going to go ahead and move these because I should really put them in ascending order. The 5,000 first, then the 9,500, then the 16,000. So there's my direct materials. The flexible budget just shows us at each different level of activity what would my materials cost. We'll do the same thing for the labor. The labor, they tell us it takes 20 minutes to make and cook the pizza, and I pay my people $15 an hour when I figure in all my taxes and benefits. So the time to make the pizza is going to be, I'm going to make this in terms of 1 hour. So because I pay my people per hour, and this is in minutes, I'm going to say that, well, there's 20 minutes, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So the time to make a pizza is 0.33 hours. My labor cost per hour is simply the $15 from up here. My total direct labor to make one pizza is $5, a third of the 15. So I follow through the same logic. If I make 5,000 pizzas, $5 per pizza, 9,500. So I'm just multiplying the number of pizzas I'm making times the direct labor per pizza. And there we have our direct labor cost at the different levels of activity. So my total variable costs are the two added together. And we'll make it so we can see this one. My fixed costs, if they're fixed, they don't change in nature as long as we don't hit that threshold that exceeds the relevant range. So my depreciation is $2,000. Maybe that's my pizza oven or whatever else it might be. And if it's fixed, it's the same regardless of the level of activity. So that's going to be constant. And my supervisor salary is $3,000 a month. That is also constant, fixed, regardless of how many pizzas I make. So it should be $3,000 at all levels of activity. So my total fixed cost is the $5,000 by adding those two together. So finally, my total budgeted costs, formatting's bothering me. Let me just fix that quick. Sorry. And so my total budgeted costs are my total variable costs plus my total fixed costs, and now I can just drag that across. And I know, depending on how many pizzas I make, what I should anticipate for total budgeted costs. And then, remember, the value of having the flexible budget is then once we have actual results, we can just figure out what should the budget have been. If we made 7,500 pizzas one month, I could change this to 7,500. And if you use Excel or some other tool, watch how nice this is. It goes ahead and it changes what my total budgeted costs are. And then I can compare that to my actual and this is a very valuable tool, the flexible budget, in terms of trying to control costs and hold people accountable.